Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader. And today we're hitting on a subject that I'll be absolutely honest with you, was a bit last minute. And it was primarily, as I've just said to people on here, because yesterday I was inundated with so many queries individually and from teams. I was nearly doing my nut trying to get my own work done. And I think it's because partners tend to go into panic then when they hear that prices are changing, that they're going up. Well, the reality is, guys, it's still good news. I hope that pleases you. It's good news. We are still really, really competitive. And folks, you will see that we are still the cheapest with energy, and I'll explain all the detail for you. Before we get going, I want to make a blanket statement, and it's very much this. If you only ever promote this and sell it on price alone, you're absolutely just missing a big trick. It is not about price, because I would like to think that we don't view ourselves as the Lidl or Aldi's or Home Bargains of services. I like to think we're more Waitrose. We're a lot more sophisticated. We give a lot more service than any other company out there. And never forget that we as partners, I think we go above and beyond 5-star service. We do things for customers that no other company ever bothers to do. In fact, they usually end up waiting in endless call times, waiting to get through to people. And then there are some companies that don't even have.
Okay. All right. So trying the product and then upgrading is absolutely.
Annette, can you mute? Thank you. Yeah, because sorry, that absolutely just disrupted it. Apologies. What I would say to you, it's not about price. We are not a discount. All right, we're not all about that. We give a lot more. We as partners go more than the extra mile, don't we? We do all kinds of things. For some folk that want it, like the elderly, we will go along, we'll go back and we'll set up their router and we'll Wi-Fi in their devices. We'll get the pack codes, we'll make sure their handsets are unlocked. All this stuff is way above what any other company does. And so I don't think it's about sort of spouting it, that it's all about price. And I've never done that, because I'll tell you this, if you do, you are missing a massive trick. You're missing the fact that people are valuing you, valuing this incredible thing that's about simpler billing, much simpler. You know, we talk about one website, one direct debit, one bill, one password, all this stuff, and a UK-based call centre, all this stuff, I think we tend to take for granted, but you know, it's not the norm with other companies. In fact, I am quite horrified when I ring certain companies and I find myself out in the Philippines and I can't particularly understand the person because they may be speaking English, but they don't understand English. If you understand what I'm saying, you know, they're reading off scripts. That is not the case with us. We're going above and beyond. So first of all, I think it would be most remiss not to share with you something that you should have already done for yourselves. Let's all be mindful that we're known as independent distributors with a focus on a big I for independent, okay? And everything we want to know is actually here. In fact, they've done it twice. Okay, so this is for all of you to make a note and have a good read. Okay, have a good read. Now, what I want to do first of all, though, I'm going to do it in sort of reverse order to what's on the system. And I want to talk about the price increases in regards to mobile and broadband. And I'm going to bring something else into the share. So let me do that. Let's see if I can be very clever. Okay, because I think this is the thing that a lot of people get panicked about. How are we now in comparison with other companies? So this slide very much clearly demonstrates a lot of things. Let's have a look at some of the competition. So there's BT, EE, O2, PlusNet, Virgin, TalkTalk 3. Take a look at this, the kind of price risings that their customers are going to see. Okay, all on the April bills. And I want you to notice UW is not until the June bill. Okay, despite anything that you're seeing, there's been some glitches, ladies and gentlemen, on the system, the join the club, because I was supporting last night and it said that the mobile, unlimited mobile, had increased to £20. But what you had to do, because UW is being very ethical and very fair, and it's giving lots of notice. But the reality is, if you go to the small print on the order form, it clearly says that actually it would continue on the unlimited at £20 for the first SIM for the house and subsequent SIMs at 13. That wouldn't begin until later, but up until then, the pricing of 18 and 12 is still in place. So that's something worth noting, okay, that we're being very upfront and we're not leaving it to the last minute for people to find out. Something else that's interesting in that, I want you to have a look at the last line. Are you protected in broadband contracts? We know this as us veterans in UW. We know that utility warehouse is so good. And these were some of the questions I had come in yesterday, which was, what about existing customers? What about those that have just signed up? Do you know what? Those that have just signed up to a couple of days ago, right up till Sunday, all of them have got their 18-month term with a guarantee, and it always says this, that their prices will not rise in that 18 months. But hark, look at the competition, not the same. So even when they're in a fixed contract, the prices aren't fixed. Yes, they go up mid-contract. So is that fair? That's why we can say protecting customers with fairer pricing. I think it's excellent. So first of all, let's note this, that the value SIM has not increased and it's not going to. It's staying at £12. All right. So it's purely the unlimited SIM that come June, it will be, sorry, from the 1st of May, it will be £20 and 30. Okay, 20 and 30, but not till then. So now the broadband, well, when it does come in place and it starts, they've got an 18-month assurity that their prices won't increase. And if you take a look at it, well, actually, utility warehouse is only going up 6.4% as opposed to these, and our broadband is 5.9. And just for absolute wonderment, the fibre to the premises is not increasing. So a little bit more to give you some peace of mind. Value you can shout about. So we're less than the rest, smaller price rises, and we're later than others. No hidden charges. What you see is what you get. And incredibly competitive. Full fibre and intro pricing won't change, and the UK's best unlimited deal. Okay, so there we are. Now let's talk about some energy. Let's talk about the energy. I'm going to go back to the previous share because there's quite a bit of information on our partner portals. We were all led to believe by our government only last week that the energy bill support scheme was going to continue for 3 more months. We heard that Martin Lewis had been campaigning for this to happen. We were told it was going to, No, it hasn't, I'm afraid. So from the 1st of April, every single customer, and that includes us, we are all going to be worse off by £67. Okay, that's £67 more a month that people have had buffered. I think it's actually given people a very false sense of security. Okay, now what has happened, however, is that the government have retained the energy price cap, the energy price guarantee cap at 2,500 for the average household. All right, now we all know that this is just a benchmark. In reality, if people live in bigger houses and they use more, they're going to pay more. Okay, that is just a fact. But they've ended the energy bill support scheme. So it says here, this has seen many households receive a £400 discount over the past 6 months. Without this discount applied from April onwards, customers will see an increase in their energy costs if they have been receiving this discount. And it says quite clearly, please note, we must not mention the energy bill support scheme when we're talking about UW energy services going forward, because it is no longer available. Okay, now it says, importantly, we will continue to work hard to keep our customers' household bills as low as possible and still offering the cheapest energy in the UK when they bundle with us. That is when they take a minimum of 3 core services. Now let's highlight those core services. They are energy, broadband, mobile, income protector, and boiler with home cover. It is not about buildings and contents insurance, and it's not about bill protector. There's 5. When they take any 3 of those, they will get £50 off the energy, and it comes off the daily standing charge. So I'm going to bring back another share, just to bear with us. So for you to see, to make it nice and clear, simpler savings on the government's energy price cap. So we did have a percentage off. When they were energy only, it was 0.5%. When it was 2 services, it was 2.5%. When it was 3 services, it was 5%. And that was actual pound savings based on average household consumption, changing quarter by quarter as market prices move. They've done something much simpler from the 1st of April. So £5 off energy only, £25 off 2 services, and £50 off 3 services. Now, I want to give you what we would call in political parlance the spin on this. Okay, actually that isn't just £50, is it? It's actually £200, because with 3 services on their second invoice they receive a £150 boost. With that, that's actually £200. Now if you think about this, we're seeing customers are going to be worse off by another 67 each month. That is a nice amount of money to go towards. All right, so please don't just view it as £50. When you are doing your quotations, your comparisons, explain to them, well, actually it's not really £50 because you're getting £150 boost. Now if they take 2 services, it's not just 25, because they're getting a £75 boost. So actually, in effect, with 2 services, they're getting another £100. All right. What you've also got to take on board is all the other companies. Remember, their prices are going to reflect as well. Remember, there's no £67. So we are still officially the UK's cheapest. Now, just to give you some little ideas, because I know people love to see a comparison, take a look at this against our competitors. There's EDF, British Gas, OVO, Scottish, E.ON, Octopus. These are all companies, okay, that are literally within the energy price guarantee. They have taken it to the limit. And now take a look at UW when there are 2 services, and then take a look at UW when there's 3 services. We can still be very proud that we are extremely well priced. Remember, we're not going for mega cheapest, okay? That is not what we're about. And why not? Well, actually, do you remember when they take things like broadband and mobile, they get an extra 10%, don't they, off the broadband? Yeah, there's another saving there. There is a chance for them to get £50 every time they recommend this on to someone else through you. That could be limitless. You know, if they do it well, it could be limitless. What about the fact that their everyday spending can actually give them, well, they can choose their discount. Because if you can actually home in and explain to them that everyday spending, not just the odd thing, look, I'm going to just stop the share and I'm going to bring you all back in the screen. I really want to explain this because I think some people don't get it. I know there are some that do. Like I know Michelle certainly understands this, and I know Steve and Val do. When you're with somebody, explain to them all their everyday bills, their water, their council tax. Well, those direct debits and standing orders, they just continue out of their normal bank account. But then you say to them, everything else that you would spend money on, and you will get some people will have you believe they never spend a thing. I'm sorry, but they have to eat to live. They do drive cars. They do fill up with petrol. They do buy stuff. They do go to the pub and have a pint. There is nothing outside that I don't use my cashback card for. Everything. And I do believe they have lives. They do have children that get married. And there's expenditure. There are birthdays. There is all kinds of things. And if they can just realise that, move that money over onto their cashback card, they are now going to receive free money. And this is the big selling point. You've got to understand this. This money that we get back, and my average is between about £35 and £45 a month. It has gone down a bit, all right? So I suppose you could say we're not spending like we used to. But, you know, I used to have 3 grown-up daughters at home, and my God, it used to cost a fortune, all right? It has come down. But if you take that we get about £500 a year back, as my accountant says, this is free money. You're earning this and it's coming off your bills. It's worth 30% more because you're not paying tax and insurance on it. Now, if you're not explaining this stuff to them, they're not really understanding the benefit. So when I hear of people that say, I don't want a cashback card, I think, why not? Why wouldn't you? Because you can go and shop at Lidl's and Aldi's, as we do sometimes. And yes, we'll get 1% back. But I make it my business and I tell people, you've got to be a little bit cunning here. Okay. So I say to them, we don't have a Sainsbury's near us. We're miles from Sainsbury's. The nearest one is at Ferndown. There's one in Poole. Poole's about 10 miles away. Ferndown's a little bit more. But I use my cunning and my guile. And when I'm near a Sainsbury's petrol station, I fill up. Because when I fill up my Range Rover, I'm kissing goodbye to about £145 on 3%. That's a fair bit of money. So actually explain to them, it's not about doing silly things. It's about incorporating it in your life and saying all those £3 and £2 and 50p's and 10p's over the months, they add up and they make a difference. And it's free money. So actually, if they're moaning about, for example, oh, well, your broadband is I've got to get this right. I think it's £27.90 on fibre to the premises. That's the 500 one, isn't it? No, is it 500? Sorry, I don't know these prices. I just do it. Okay, whatever it is, whatever it may be, the reality is, as I show people on my bill, we've never paid for our broadband, ever, because of the everyday shopping. You've got to help people think outside the box. All right, so I'm emphasizing what is very basic to utility warehouse, but it's getting your head round it. It's not apples for apples exactly, because we are different. We're offering so much more. So let's go back to the share. So that's compare with our competitors. Now, here's something else for you. There we are. There it is. Our unbeatable value. So the UK, right, wants 75%. Sorry, 75%. This is Money Supermarket, Mr. Martin Lewis. He says 75% will switch for 149.99 saving. All right, they'll switch. Look at that. 3 services, 150 boost, £50. There's 200. You've given them more. So have belief that there's people out there that will switch. And now I'm going to show you something that I think is absolutely fabulous. And some of you may want this, I think, because if you're saying to yourself, oh, it's all got so much harder. Well, let's have a little look. Look at March 2022. And I know for some of you, you weren't around. But there we go, 7,927 customers were gathered. But look at March 23. Over 10,000 customers were gathered. 19% of customers gathered by new partners, all right, were new partners gathered 19%. In this March, hold your heads up high, guys, feel proud, 56% of customers gathered were by new partners. And in March 2022, 1,793 new partners. Oh my gosh, we're not even at the end yet. March 23, 3,300 new partners, a 51% increase. So in March 2022, there was the half customer bonus for new starters. So when you start, in the 45-day period, when you're mentored, you get half because it's shared with the supporter. What's the company done? Brand new people starting up, full customer bonus. Wow. In March 2022, there was no boost. It was what it was. There's now 150 or 75. It was a very complex referral system a year ago. And now it's simple. When any customer of yours recommends on, and that recommendee takes at least 2 services, they get £50. Very, very nice. And you can say that's a free lead to you. And dealing with people that are recommended is a lot easier than brand new. In March 2022, the company offered £200 towards early termination fees, and now, a year later, it's 400. Are we finding it a massive difference it makes? It is tremendous. It's tremendous. There was very little awareness in March 2022 of UW. We've now we're brand building to make UW a household name. And I'm going to emphasize something that Andrew Lindsay has said relentlessly. It's no good them doing this marketing campaign, this brand awareness, if we don't get into action and actually do it. Because the point is, we've actually got to go out and see people for it to mean something. Yeah, it could be on any billboard anywhere or in newspapers, but if we aren't going out seeing people, it's pointless. Massive energy price rise. last April. And guess what? There's another massive energy price rise this April. People are now not going to get that £67 saving. And 15,000 plus customers and 3,200 partners. And we are absolutely zooming. Do you think we could be really, really proud? So I'm now going to open it up. I can see there is somebody in the chat. What's it saying? It's Lindsay. What's a new partner? Yes, a new partner is somebody that has got under 6 customers. And if they joined prior to April, was it 21 or 22? And they're still sitting on under 6 customers, they are a new partner and they can gain that double customer bonus. Okay, brilliant. Okay, anybody got any questions? Because I'm happy to answer them. Yes, Isabel. As long as it's about this subject.
Yeah, I had a very quick look at the increased prices earlier on, and I was a bit confused about the £50 saving in the standing charge. Is that awarded on a monthly basis in the bill, or is it a one-off after a year? If you see what I mean?
No, the £50 is over the year. So it's pro rata divided by 12. It comes off the standing charge. Okay.
I was just a wee bit confused about that. Thanks.
And I've actually asked if when the excuse me, when the order comes through, it only ever quotes the unit price. And I have requested upstairs, can we please have the standing charge on there? Because that's where UW is giving the saving. And yet it's not shown when the order comes through. So I think that needs to be on there. And I've put it to Justin and he's promised me that we will see that coming out. And I must say to you, there is a glitch on the system at the moment. Last night, I supported a new partner and it's already quoting all these prices. But as I said before, the company are quoting them because they're trying to be very upfront and ethical and explain that this is what's coming. All right. And by the way, if you don't know this, this is useful. Energy is billed 1 month in arrears. Okay, so you have to use the energy for a month before you pay for it. Okay, on your direct debit. So any energy you use in April, you wouldn't see it on your bill until the end of May. But broadband, telephone, mobiles are different. They are rentals and we pay for them 1 month in advance. So, you know, when a customer switches over, okay, if they switched, for example, now, today, there would still be 10 days, right? So if it went over today, they'd be billed for 10 days of March, plus April, plus 1 month in advance. Now, you might think that's horrendous, but it's not, because there are people still with BT that pay quarterly. And when they move over to BT, they get charged 3 months in advance. Yes, Michelle, hand up.
I was just going to say about the energy being in arrears and things, which is obviously like they get charged in arrears for so the April usage will be on their May bill, for example. However, I found out the hard way that when you set up a budget plan, they still take so say they signed up on like the 1st of April, they would still take the budget plan payment in April, even though they're not billing them for any usage. So just be aware of that, because I had a customer, I was like, don't worry, you don't pay anything till May, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, why am I being billed this? And I was like, you're not being charged for the usage, it's just you've got to pay your budget plan, it'll all even out. But yeah, just one thing to be aware of if you're telling people. Because
That's a really good point, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I want to explain this. You know, if they choose monthly in arrears, what I've just said is absolutely true. But budget plan is designed to take the whole year's usage, divide it by 12 months, which allows for the fluctuations, yeah, the seasonal fluctuation. So you've got all the units divided by 12 with the price applied So that's why you pay the same amount every month. And that's why, as Michelle has said, when they switch over, they do pay, because it does even out by the end of the 12-month period. They're annual. Does that make sense? Some of you are looking at, no, good, I'm getting some nods. I hope you understand that. But also the business over rentals, a lot of people do forget. And I've always thought it a good idea, I bother with my customers to explain how it works, because otherwise I think people are confused. And you know the best thing you can say to them? When you get the first invoice, go to the individual pages and please take a look at dates. Because I don't know how, even though I do this, perhaps my customers are a little bit more dim than most, I don't know, but I find I do explain all this and they forget everything. And then when you explain to them, could you go to the page that is marked phone and broadband, and would you take a look at this, the dates, when it starts from and when it's to, and you'll probably see that it's crossing over 3 months, a few days of the month from which you switched, the month, the rental in advance as well. And and they just seem to forget. They absolutely forget this. But when you show them the dates, it's all marked out and it's all there. It's just that I don't think people like looking at bills. I think it's boring, and also it's facing the truth, and people don't like facing the truth, do they? Okay, we know that, certainly with many things going on at the moment. Is there any other questions that you'd like on this? And if you're thinking to yourself, is this going to be harder? It's not. It's going to be just as it's been, because you've got to remember that the competition have put all theirs up as well. All right. So just to say to you, next week, I'm actually Steve Critchley's special guest host speaker at his NHQ day. And I am offering, if anybody wants to book a ticket to go up and they've never done it, I'm offering, I've got 4 possible seats that you can come with me and back. But obviously I'm not going to go around picking people up from individual houses. I'll say that there's certain points en route. But if you've not yet experienced an NHQ day and you'd like to be part of it, then let me know. Now, that also means that what I'm going to do is I will possibly get away by 4:30, but it might be an interesting coaching where I'll be talking to you, but I won't be showing anything on the screen because I'll be driving, and I think I could be had up for that. So I hope to provide you with something really good for next week, but it will be different. Okay, guys, thank you ever so much. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.